Hi guys, I'm Syama, CEO of Scaling Retail. And if you've been in business for about 6 months, you might be wondering, what are the KPIs you should be measuring and what's the scorecard? How do you actually know how your business is performing and what are some of the key indicators you should be looking out for? So let's talk about some of those key metrics and really, where do you get that information and what does it mean? Number one, we really want to understand traffic. Now, on your Google Analytics, you want to make sure you start to take a look at not only where traffic is coming from a referral basis, but also very important to understand the location. So traffic, guys, is going to be the number one thing you're going to be looking at. Now, why is this KPI important? If you start to notice that more and more people are coming from certain geographic regions, it's going to give you a better understanding of perhaps some communication strategies that are more hyper-localized, or even being able to do some better paid marketing segmentation. Now, the second thing you want to take a look at is your newsletter subscriber and open rate metrics. Now, when it comes to looking at newsletter subscriptions, it's important to see how much it's increasing over time. Is it week over week, you're getting 10 new people? Is it that you've only gotten 20 people in the last month? Newsletter subscriptions are super, super important because this is actually ends up being one of the primary ways in which you'll be marketing and communicating. Someone who's on your newsletter is basically the equivalent of gold because they have opted in and said yes to getting your email marketing. Email marketing conversion rates are much higher than any other by-channel platform, and that is because with email marketing, they already know your brand. They love you, and of course, they're going to open and click through. Now, when it comes to what those numbers should look like, obviously we're going to be looking at not just your open rates, but also your click-through rates. Ideally, guys, we're seeing about a 16 to 20% open rate. And when it comes to click-through rates, we're hoping for around a 2 to 5% marker on there. Perhaps it's higher, but hopefully not lower than that. So your 6-month scorecard needs to include where you're at with newsletter subscriptions, up to your site, and then also really the delta and the growth of that over time. Now, the third way of looking at your business or what's on your scorecard needs to be your social traction and social proof. On the particular channels that you've chosen to engage on, what is your follower count increase looking like? What are your engagement numbers looking like? This is very important to prove social proof and validation. Within the first 6 months, guys, we are looking for your customers and your ideal clients to be able to say, yes, they are self-selecting into your brand. So having your eye on those social metrics are going to help you understand what content is doing well, the frequency of posting, perhaps what times of day, and it's going to help you understand if people are resonating or not resonating with your existing communication strategy on that platform. Now, the fourth KPI that I think is so important and needs to go on your scorecard here is really customer feedback. Now, in the first 6 months, sometimes we're too shy to find out what customers really think, so we'll hide behind something like a survey because we don't actually want to hear, but we know we need to find out. My encouragement and invitation to you at that 6-month marker is to get on the phone with your customers. Really start to understand how they found your brand. What is it that they loved about the product? How was their unboxing experience? Did they share it with anybody? Now, it's important to know that chances are your customers are going to want to tell you things you may want to hear. So you actually may want to have someone else on your team conduct those customer interviews, or make sure you're trying to get them to tell you some of the pain points or some of the ways in which you might be able to improve. Remember, you do not have to change your entire business model or offering because a customer tells you so. The idea here is to see the aggregate of what it is you're putting out into the market, how it's being well received, and to start to bridge relationships with that customer. So we've gone over 4 very, very important elements of your 6-month scorecard, but we haven't talked about one of the ones that's probably on your mind here, and the 5th one, which is sales. Now, obviously, sales tell you whether or not you're doing something right or wrong. However, I want to preface this by saying in your first 6 months, you might have just a slightly higher amount of friends and family buying from you than you will over time. So when you're looking at that 6-month marker and you're gauging where sales are coming from, please make sure you separate out who is purchasing, if it's someone who you know or if it's someone who's new to the business. I don't want to take away the fact that your friends and family love you, but I do want to say that catering to them is simply not going to be moving yourself towards a sustainable business model. So we want to make sure that we're actually seeing what are the products, what are the services, what are people buying, and how is it that we're going to be able to continue to replenish our feedback into what people are looking for. This first 6 months, guys, is an important time in your business. You're operationalizing yourself for the first time. You're putting yourself out there. You've spent maybe 9 months plus on building out this amazing hypothesis between product, market, and now it's time to see what that fit is. Guys, if you are interested in getting some strategic advice and support on how to set up your business model, how to create a business model that will scale, where to invest your resources, please make sure you send us an email at hello@scalingretail.com. Oftentimes it can be hard to know what's working, what's not working, what are industry standards. So before you start to shoot yourself in the foot or start to think negatively about something that actually might be positive feedback, make sure you send us an email, because how you understand data and information and what you do with it is so critical within these first 12, 18 months of your business. All right, guys, I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks. Bye.